Hello, everyone, and welcome to a
the Ashen Forge.
Hello. Welcome to the Ashen Forge. I'm trying to fix something real quick. Hey, it's a good way to go out. Let me figure out what's going on.
It's all just falling apart. Well,
no, I know what's
so
going to happen.
obviously there was no live stream on Friday. It's not news, I'm sure, at this point to everybody, because if everybody's been following, then they know exactly what's been going on.
Let me fix some stuff. Hey, you know what? This is how we started out.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another day in Vera. And boy, do we have an exciting showcase for you today. We are just T-minus 20 hours away from starting Phase 2 of Alpha 2, and the team has been hard at work getting a lot of content and new features ready for us to test. We are going to be showing off one of those big content expansions here at the Befallen Forge, and I am joined by some very amazing developers who helped bring to life what you're about to see today. Joining us, of course, we have the classic world team owner, that is Jeremy. Jeremy, how are you doing, buddy?
Doing pretty good.
Welcome.
Ready to show this off, yeah.
Yeah, excited. I'm excited to see what your team has been cooking. And of course, we have one of our glorious level designers, Jessica. Jessica, I believe is this your first time on the show or second time?
First time, but I'm hyped.
Welcome. Very excited. I know that you've done a lot of cool stuff in here, and I think players are going to be excited to see that. We are live, by the way, on the production environment. Obviously, this week we've been doing some testing on prod, since last weekend was our last weekend of Phase 1. So you may see some players run through us.
Yeah, we're working on that Lumavox. Sorry about that.
Oh, I'm getting echoes too. What is happening?
It's been a while. I think I'm muted. My theory forges. I mean.
Well, my theory forge isn't muted, but you're not hearing it through mine because it's rather cute.
So
Quiet,
weird.
not cute.
What is
Sorry,
happening?
I was hearing myself talk there and the wrong word popped up.
All right.
Anyway, cheers, everybody.
What is happening?
Cheers, for sure.
Well, we're here. We don't have our video. What is going on with
That's
this
okay.
thing? All right, can you guys actually hear us now? Like, you should be able to hear us just fine. I hope. Holy shit.
They should, they should be able to hear us now. There's no other video going on right now.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, yo. It's literally it's muted. Like OBS shows it as muted. So I don't know why it's playing. Anyways, welcome to the Ashen Forge. I'm gonna try to figure. I'm irritated now, so I'm gonna try to figure this out.
Ashes is a good word.
That's truly what we're left with, is the ashes of creation, because doesn't seem like there might be a coming back from this, and if there is, it certainly wouldn't be the way it was. Though after hearing that interview with Jason, it probably shouldn't have been going the way it was perhaps the entire time, but I'm sure we'll get into that, because man, oh man, does it not sound like anything good was happening, and very bad things were happening the entire time, and everybody at the company, all the way from the top down, basically didn't know anything about it until the last minute, when everybody's jobs were unceremoniously cut. And that's kind of what started everybody on this, and what really broke the news, that got everybody looking.
Yeah.
So
Well, wait.
So anyway, it's showing
one
an
of
ad right now.
one of
but
us
I
knew.
Well, yeah, okay.
I'm sorry. I'm
So-
super irritated that this ain't working now. So my brain's frozen. Yes, Diggs is frozen for everyone that's asking.
Anyway, anybody who is new here to the show, we've got Phantom X, who's working on trying to get the video going. Diggs, who is frozen in classic Diggs style, which is totally fine and canon for the show. And I am the legendary Neurotoxin. And right now, rocking my landmark shirt, and I might as well put the damn hat on too.
There we go. It's been
Back.
12 years.
Been 12.
Oh, and we got that. Yeah. 12 years since you got it, right? It's 12 years since we went to the Sony thing. And you drove me there. Did you drive me there? Did I go? Pretty sure.
No. You. Wait. Did you come? Maybe I did drive you that way. I can't remember.
Yeah, we went to something together.
This, everybody in chat, this is the Nagafen hat. This was one of the promotional items that was given out for EverQuest Next Landmark. And the reason why I'm wearing that and an EverQuest Next shirt is because I don't have a shirt for Revival. I don't have a shirt for COE. And I don't have one of the Ashes shirts that ended up at Steven's older brother's nutrition shop, 310 Nutrition, and is somewhere in a warehouse, presumably in Knoxville. So, so this is the best I got. I've got one for Telestin, but Telestin was more of the just to give a little bit of history, we were following the game Revival, and unfortunately, what had happened is that the more and more the folks at Ilphonic were being pulled off Revival onto other projects, and they had just recently done some housing stuff, so like it was a real stinger. But basically, at some point, they realized there are only two people working on it, and those were basically the lead people that were making the world. So they handed the world of Telestin back over to them and said, "We're really sorry. We just don't have a budget to make this game. You know, thank you and good luck with it. Hope you can do something with it." And so that was Revival. That was actually not our first. That was our second, with EverQuest Next being the first. And then with Chronicles of Illyria, and man, I'm gonna give you some words about that one later, because for all the stuff that Jeremy Walsh suffered, there are particular individuals who perhaps are actually due that level of vitriol and animosity, and people doing like truly nefariously like bad things in retaliation. Jeremy, poor guy, mismanaged things, but I don't believe he was doing what is being alleged here, not by leaps and bounds. And so the Professor Pickle, we are definitely talking about the Ashes of Creation. However, you won't be seeing gameplay until we resolve some technological differences going on. Technical difficulties? I've watched Idiocracy too many times.
All of that.
Actually, it's kind of fitting to not show any gameplay at this point.
Yeah, but we'll maybe we'll be able to get it figured out. But yeah, there's just so much to go over, and I don't want to like leap in. I guess that was more of my overture of what's to come, perhaps.
Why don't you want to leap in? You should leap in. You want Phantom to start? Do you want Phantom to start?
I do want Phantom to start, because...
Go ahead.
What's up?
Oh, go ahead. Finish.
Because you...
Yeah, you can finish.
Phantom Prophet. I think
No,
he was
I think
done.
there's just a lot of folks
We're waiting
that
for you.
a lot of folks that are probably new to this show that kind of came in later. December, January. We've not done a show now for a little while. One, we're waiting on everyone to get in and play the game, but then all hell broke loose, and so here we are. But yeah, so
Mhm.
folks who are new to that kind of have been hanging out with me. We've been doing the Ashen Forge as a group for how many years have we done it now? I don't even 8 years. 7, 8 years, 9 years. I don't even know. We've covered Ashes of Creation pretty extensively over the years. I think this is episode 170. Interviewed Steven a few times over that time. I did get somebody say I should go back and do a React stream to our interviews with him just to see what it would be like. And yeah, so this is the sort of last. I don't know if it's the last, not for us, but for probably. Whoa! All right,
He's probably getting the camera working again here. Everybody,
yeah,
just,
but you know that
hang out
throws
for a
off
moment.
OBS. So hey guys, it is that kind of a night.
Hey, is it this side? No, it's this side.
Yeah,
Hey,
I'm not even
everybody
gonna
on
bother with it at this
point.
I'm not even gonna bother. I don't even know where Diggs is. He probably joined us from the dance studio somewhere. Who knows? But yeah, we've been covering this for quite a while. This has been just a jacked up night with trying to get this stream going. Like I said, very fitting. But yeah, we've been covering this game for a long time. I've kind of talked a little bit about it when I play in the mornings. We started out EverQuest Next. Yeah, I'm progressing to Chronicles of Lyria and now Ashes of Creation. So for any developer out there, if you see us coming, it's probably not a good thing. Because we've not seen anything come to completion yet at this point.
Stars Reach got ahead of it. They unfortunately just recently announced, like, the joke I've been saying is Ashes crashed and burned so hard that even Stars Reach, a wholly unconnected project, had to go lean. Yeah, Terradin, we definitely mentioned Revival, and still very much missed that one and what it was potentially going to bring to the table. And Landmark, EverQuest Next, the story bricks, what they were saying versus what got delivered, and like just a big tragic boondoggle. And one after the other at this point. Like, at this point, I'm not going to back a single Kickstarter MMO or like pre-order, I think, any more MMOs or anything. It'd be smart to do that for the rest of my life, because my record on those, not good. And I think the track record for them maybe just isn't good either. And so I'm just giving up on that. Kickstarter ain't the way.
And this is
if you've got to go to Kickstarter, it better be something small, like a Realm of the Mad God scale, or like, I don't know, like 33 Immortals, like something that's like, yeah, it's an MMO, but not really. Or like Foxhole. Foxhole's fucking badass. I love it. I think it's a great idea. I don't play it that much. It's a game that I appreciate the idea of it maybe more than the actual toil of playing it. But the game itself is just such an amazing design, and I love it so much for that. It's like all the best parts of PlanetSide 1, but from a bit of a different perspective, and in like a World War era setting. But like, yeah, the Western MMO, like, either you're going to get more of the same that people have already done, or someone's going to want to try to do something better and different, and it crashes and burns for one reason or another. It's sad.
Well, we still haven't seen Light No Fire. Maybe Light No Fire will be good.
Yeah, I'm excited.
No Man's Sky is still going great.
It is. We should definitely commit to a month of that and like just rally everyone and mess with that one. Riot might actually make a good MMO. They just let like half the team go for 2x KO, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think going lean is probably good. I don't think that game's going away. I think it's a good one. I know this isn't a fighting games channel, but you know what? Fighting games are fun too. If you want PvP, that's a streamlined version. Ain't no RP, ain't no leveling. The only leveling is getting your elo up so you can get your ass kicked by more skilled players. And if that's what you're into and you like, learning your lessons on the streets like that, 2x KO might be your thing. But
it's a hard time
to
be an MMO lover.
Right, MMO, I am interested. I am like actively looking for jobs to apply to there, and I'll probably be in competition with other staff that just got laid off from Intrepid and all sorts of other places.
Oh,
I'll tell you. Hold on. Okay, you go for it. I'm going to tell you all a little story.
I think he was talking to you, Dix. Did you freeze again?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, I was just going to say that I forgot to say that the SLU is where I first met Margaret in person 12 years ago.
Yeah, I was just saying the land of the MMORPG is getting really rough. So, it's makes all of this a little extra frustrating because we've seen the new Warhammer close, Ghost MMO close, New World's closing down, their Lord of the Rings closing down.
The Tencent Avalon,
and then we had
was that Tencent or NetEase?
I don't remember, but
I think it was Tencent. Doesn't matter.
And then we just had what's the other space one? Oh my god, I'm forgetting. They just had to lay off some people as well. It's a rough time for Western MMOs, but makes all of this even more frustrating because I think the root of why we're having such a hard time is nobody wants to pay for them anymore because it's such a bad investment. When you talk about developing millions of dollars over 5+ years and you're not going to get a return for 8 or 9 years. It's part of it, as I sit here, makes me even more frustrated with the situation because Steven clearly had money, like $150 million worth of money. And we could have had a game. Think if we had not switched to UE5. He didn't
have the money. Other people had the money and he mismanaged it and potentially misappropriated
the studio had money.
it.
He was able to sequester money from investors. Yes, he didn't pay. Apparently, it looks like he didn't pay a cent of his own. But but he it was there. Like I actually think even with where we were with the Steam early access release, another 6 months, there was probably going to be a pretty decent loop to at least build on. And then everything just implodes. I mean, I guess man's got to have a house, but, or whatever. That makes it even more frustrating when you see the layout, when you see all of these other MMOs closing and finances getting so bad with them, knowing that there was a chance here that you had that funding and just pissed it all away. Makes it even more frustrating. So anyways, it turns out Steve, this is a community. We'll try to answer. I mean, this is like a go home for everybody. So feel free to chat. We'll answer questions as we go. I think there is are they still going on with that live stream? Nephis with the Jason guy. They were live as well, but anyways, been wild. We're going to see a whole lot more come too. As the lawsuits build, I'll keep reporting on them. I do expect there to be many more that come from all of this. Oh, he ended a few minutes ago. Okay. What we have right now, just as a real quick recap, and then Neuro, I know you wanted to kind of talk about something. You still have open, so we have 2 class action lawsuits by the employees that are against Intrepid. You have, SADA Systems for AWS bills out of New York. That is still an open case. You still have Aetna as a healthcare provider with a lawsuit in California that's open. And now you have TFE Games Holdings suing Stephen Sharif. So there's a lot of legal stuff going on. We know there's a lot of investors, and I assume a lot of them are going to be trying to get whatever they can back. So a lot to talk about. Somebody asked about the servers. Yes, servers are still up, believe it or not. Through all of this, you can log in and play. The other thing that is still up is the shop. Please do not purchase any skins from that cash shop. Do not buy anything. Do not spend any money.
And if you have, contact your bank and tell them to strike it, because there ain't nobody at the company to challenge it right now. the board, who, if allegations are correct, just now in like the past few weeks finally got access to the QuickBooks for everything, finally got access to all that data, and are picking through it to figure out, you know, everything going on. Like there's gosh, I don't envy anybody's job with that. Like, you know, finally actually seeing where the money was going, how it was being spent, all of that sort of stuff. Like, that's rough.
Question: do I see this?
What I wanted to start with, though, Phantom, you've been tracking this for like 2 years.
What, just a quick gloss over? I mean, yeah. So things started feeling weird. Yes. So I would say June, July 2024. So this is where things start getting kind of wacky. You get a loss. You start getting these UCC filings, which basically are liens placed by people who lent money. You get the lawsuit by Jason, who has been on Nephas's streams. And then from there, you spring right into Alpha 2, kind of rushed. Phase 1 was actually okay. Phase 2 rushed. Phase 3 never really coalesced into anything important. And then you get to basically a year later. It makes me wonder if there was sort of a year period that they were allowed to try to get something going. And then you get into Steam Early Access. And, you know, that all seems obviously to have got money out of it. You know, we don't know. I don't want to say things that we don't know for sure. You know, clearly there was an intent to make money. That has in turn, apparently, it sounds like all of that money has gone to Commerce West, which was one of the UCC holders that had lent money to Intrepid Studios. But yeah, things started feeling weird. That's why, you know, 7 months ago, I started making videos about like One Continent and about beta being here much sooner than people think, because things were just starting to look weird. And feel even weirder. It does appear that they were going to try to, this is going to be a Netflix. You're going to see a lot of people pick up on this. It does appear that they were going to try to make the game. You know, I've seen multiple things that sort of indicate they were going to. So Intrepid Studios, it looks like, was always going to be foreclosed. So they've had what's called an Article 9 foreclosure. And all of its assets have now been.
For how long?
What do you mean for how long?
Like when did that part start?
The Article 9 foreclosure?
February?
The earliest I saw conversations about it was in December. As the earliest I've seen. I've seen stuff that I can't put out in public, but and then January it sort of takes off. But the plan was always to, from what I can tell from the sources I have, the plan was always to actually shut down Intrepid Studios. That was never going to persist. Even with trying to continue the game development side, Intrepid Studios had so much debt and so much just upside down for it that the plan was always to, appears anyways, at some point the plan had been to close down Intrepid Studios, transfer all of the assets to this TFE Games Holdings, which is what happened. But in the process of also, I think they were going to try to keep like 60 or 70 employees and, you know, cut everyone else and try to put something out. And then through all that process, if you know, Jason has said on in these streams, his opinion anyways of it was that Steven tanked that. Threw a big wrench with the money that was supposed to come from Steam. Of course, the board people are saying that money was supposed to pay the employees. Instead, it went to this Commerce West bank. which Jason claims it somehow roundabout way freed Steven from some lender stuff with Commerce West as well in his house. I don't know. There's just a lot of allegations thrown around. This is just some wild shit, guys. Like, this is, if you read through, I put a video on it. If you read through what the TFE lawsuit states, now keep in mind they're allegations. You know, we don't know what's true, what's not true, but there's like legit like criminal. They're alleging like criminal behavior, like if somebody wished to prosecute, you know, potentially Steven could end up in jail, I guess. I don't know if some of these allegations are true. Like, it's turned really wild. But this has been building and building and going and going. You know, there's a lot of questions about, is the game going to get picked up and will somebody develop it further? I really don't see that happening. I really don't. Maybe, I guess, if it is, it will never come out under the name Ashes of Creation. That game is poison. That name is poison at this point. It will 100% come out in a different name. We talked about it this morning a little bit. Even if they continue development, if it's not with the same team, it's not going to be the same game. I don't think I would want to play it.
Well, I'm gonna give you a bit of a pause on that one, because I had thought about that a little bit in thinking about the concept of why after all this time it wasn't able to get completed. And I was starting to realize, well, part of the problem might have been that they didn't actually have enough people doing leadership roles in their leadership positions and enough organization for the scope and scale and size of the company, plus being able to respond to like Steven's demands at a whim. If Steven's like, hey, I want everybody to focus on putting X, Y, or Z system in, he can come down from on high at any time and say that, and they have to stop what they're doing and do it. I've been in that situation before. It sucks. I hate it. I had a boss who did that at worst every 2 weeks, and at best every 6 months, would come on down from on high, having no actual connection to the development of the game, and then demand a feature be put in or ask why a previously requested feature hadn't been put in yet. It's like, you don't even have a team big enough to allocate resources to even do something like that. You know, we got to figure out all the other stuff that you also asked us to do too. And then when it's done, it's like, no, that's not good enough quality. Take it out. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of micromanaging.
So, you know, it's one of those things where maybe less people is better, especially if Steven was actually stymieing things potentially, than not having his influence. Maybe going back to the original plan and the original design, not what the game became afterwards, is actually better or maybe even easier to do. So these are the sorts of things that potentially a smaller team with more focus and a better plan and maybe a better econ and artisan system than what we had and what was manifesting there, will actually have a real game. But that means we actually need good, solid people, top to bottom. And I believe they do have among their staff the people who could do that. It's real hard to ask them to come back, but I suppose if the people actually have a better guarantee of, no, we're actually serious about this, we actually want to turn this into something, we're not looking to play, you know, I love the quote, hee-haw with the fuck around gang. You know, if they're actually there to make an MMO, they could actually do that potentially better with a smaller team and with different people in those leadership positions, making better technical and creative and artistic decisions to pull together and pull through and get something meaningful out there. Now, the other thing, though, is when I think about the monetization model, and we can either launch into this or come back to it later, all of the talk about Fortnite that we heard about from Jason's side of things and then the cosmetics that were mostly just art, just concept art. The few that actually were delivered were like, okay, but where's the rest? That's not how you Fortnite. You Fortnite by making the smallest model possible, where you can have people do their own player housing and buy the things and put them in and decorate their characters. Do that. That is so much easier to actually fund than trying to tell people, well, we might do this thing, because you're actually getting the money from it to be able to fund to get more artists to keep the thing going and keep the rest of the company going while you build the rest of the damn game and, you know, hopefully integrate the stuff that you've already done one way or another so people can just jump into the game with their decorated house. You know, instance housing, I'm sorry to say, from a technical standpoint, it's just easier to do than trying to do like physical housing. And it lets people do a lot more with it. If they were trying to do that, if they were trying to do a Fortnite, if they were trying to do like a, you know, a house builder sort of thing. Then they needed to have been doing that the whole time. They weren't. APOC wasn't that. Alpha 1 wasn't that. And then when they came back, they didn't have those things. They never had it. And so all of that was like, just the things that they're saying, that he was saying about, you know, this will be the next Fortnite. Well, you can't do that unless you do Fortnite-like things. They did not do things like Fortnite. And so that was a non-starter for that to be a business model. That was going back to talks from like 2018, 2019. So even then, like, the business model was absolutely hosed. He didn't know what he was doing, sounds like. Man.
I was gonna say though, APOC was battle royale like Fortnite.
Yeah, but it didn't have all of the like.
Fantasy
not only did it
Fortnite.
not have selling the skins and all of that and the dance moves and stuff, but it was also a big who cares, because that's not what you were selling people on. That's not what the project was. People did not back APOC, and so you're not going to get people to be happy about throwing shit in their face. That's what happened with H1Z1. I didn't like that. I didn't like that this game I was backing got destroyed and turned into a battle royale. It's like a mid-tier battle royale. Okay, whatever. And then what's Ash's APOC? Not even a mid-tier. It was bad. It was not great. And so, like, again, why do you expect MMO fans who want an economy and levels and a skill system and all of that, or at least a house to play around in and a character to dress up, why the hell do you think they want something that is wholly unrepresentative of the game whatsoever, and I don't believe actually gave them any useful technical data whatsoever, like they alleged it did?
Of course it
whatsoever.
did. Because, come on, that was the beginning of research for dynamic gridding. That's all we did, was just test to see how many people could stay in the same spot at the same time.
Dynamic gridding. Jesus Christ.
They put a patent on that.
You win Star Citizen.
On
Star
dynamic
Citizen,
gridding?
you win.
No.
You're only doing quasi-dynamic gridding, but you're going to be the ones to do it. It's not Ashes.
Well, nothing's Ashes now. It's all Ashes. It's all Ashes.
Chris Roberts, you win this round.
Well, they haven't even showed it off. Yeah, APOC, what? 832 player peak? Is that right? Is that what I'm looking at here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Fantasy Fortnite, guys.
You literally could have made a housing simulator dress-up game with Ash's themed assets, and that would have done like 10x or more success and would have been sustained, because people will decorate and RP with it, especially if you let them visit each other. Oh man, are you kidding me? Like, that's the sort of thing that sustains a good community.
Yeah.
Well, there are a few devs, and I don't know if they
We
want
were
to
just
chat or not, but I'm pretty certain, well, probably can't say anything anyways, but I'm pretty certain nothing of APOC made its way into any version of Ashes. Of literally nothing. Maybe lore? Do we have a lore
Maybe
person in the house?
lore technically, but anything that would have come in from APOC would have been gone from the switch from UE4 to UE5, because it sounds like they hit a giant a big stupid reset button. Somebody asked in chat earlier, and I saw that, I didn't catch the name, about whose idea. Oh, here it is. Fat Peanut. I wonder whose idea it was to go to UE5. Tragically, I'm wondering if that was Steven to delay things and bide for time. That his plan was basically, let's see, if I Daikatana our project and make it take 3 years to port, then that's much longer that I can keep on doing my grift. I hope that wasn't it. I hope it was just a technical oversight and an overestimation of Unreal 5's capabilities. I would consider, even as late as they got in, that they were still a very early adopter to it, and it wasn't until later on that we realized, oh crap, Nanite and Lumen is going to increase the hardware requirement a whole lot. It's not really going to add much to make the game pretty or otherwise, because we're still going to have to dumb things down anyway.
There's
some fun things.
Real quick, I want to point this out.
Fine.
I want to point this out real quick because I'm really surprised. Sorry, Diggs, and I'll let you go. Planendorf said a very small number of assets apparently made it. I'm frankly surprised anything did. So, all right, go ahead, Diggs.
Yeah. So some fun things for me are that when I first, and this is fun in lieu of what I was listening today to the history of Steven with Ashes, and where he got his money from and how he's borrowing from here and borrowing from there. Because I went to the event in 2017, which was at PAX West, is I think where I first saw them. And the wild thing was that his mom was there helping them pass out T-shirts and knickknacks and stuff. And I was like, that's kind of wild that his mom is helping him run the studio.
He met his mom?
Just his mom was there.
I didn't know that
that's
part.
Nice of her to be supportive like that. Like,
she was very
really
supportive because she was giving some money she was investing some money.
Yes, she was. Yes, that's
now I see why it felt like a family business, because it was literally a family business.
Also named as a co-conspirator. Ouch.
I'm saying, from what I was hearing, she kind of taught him how to do what he does.
Hey, that's be mindful of what we say.
And there's one or two comments about how allegedly he was a good gambler and that he could be so much better at running businesses than being a gambler. And, immediately that raised other red flags for me. Maybe I've been watching too much Pablo Torre Finds Out, but from all the basketball scandals and all of seeing how gambling debts get people entrenched in mafia related stuff and organized crime related stuff, I have no idea if he actually wasn't a good gambler and was in over his head at some point, and part of the scheming was somehow related to something like that. I certainly hope that's not what it is. And again, that I've just been watching way too much stuff related to these things on another channel related to basketball, not game dev. Because that would add just another layer of fury to everybody involved here, because ain't nobody happy. The players ain't happy. The investors ain't happy. The team ain't happy. Nobody's happy about being stuck in San Diego without last month's wages and last year's bonuses. Nobody's happy about that. That's terrible. That place is awfully expensive. And let me tell you that little story. So I had applied a few times to Intrepid. The last two times were very serious attempts. One of them, it would have been real rough, but I would have been there for a little while. But they ended up going with someone else. That's fine. I had my own stuff I needed to handle. My mom passed a couple months later. And so that would have been like a real wild sort of thing. So then the next year, I'm feeling better about things. It's like, okay, the job's coming around again. I had spoken with Cameron, who was the recruiter I had worked with. He seemed like he was like the main recruiter person people interviewed with, and he was a good person. I'm not going to blame him for anything because I have no idea the terms of anything that was going on. He was very professional to work with, cool dude. He had like some cool Star Wars models and stuff in his office the last time because like was working on stuff in his house and had to like bring him out of the house for a moment or something. So I was like, I'll stash him in my office. So like real cool guy. I would hang out with him and grab a beer anytime. So the second time came around, interviewed with him again, and this time I still didn't get the job. This was May of last year. And you might see if you go back and watch the shows around April, May or so, my attitude changed towards the game to be a lot less positive and a lot more critical and giving them a lot less grace. Because at that point, I had been doing everything I could to prepare to work at on Ashes at Intrepid. From the start of pre-alpha all the way up to when I got the rejection notice, I was putting so much time and effort into learning the hell out of the game and its systems and its mechanics and really understanding it with a level of mastery. And I'm sure you probably saw a lot more of my critical stuff feedback coming a little bit earlier than that like April, May period. But after that happened, man, I was really upset because this wouldn't have been the first time. This would have been now a few times that I focused real hard for a game I really liked and was really passionate about. And after being somebody who is known and beloved by staff, or at least seemingly they appear to like me, I apply for jobs and I don't end up getting them. And so like this one keeps happening. So maybe I took it a little too personal, but a couple of months later, something happened where the legality of the company was brought into question, and little quick silent action was done over it, and as a result, I kind of realized, no, maybe I dodged a bullet, and I've been kind of keeping that in the back of my head this whole time. Maybe I dodged a bullet, not getting hired at Intrepid. Thinking about it, if I did get hired, it would have been about 6 months remote before I'd have had to go on site. That would have been coming around right before all of this went down. You can imagine I would not have been very happy to have just moved down to San Diego, probably signed an onerous 1-year contract with some crappy apartment or something, and all of a sudden, my job just ended.
Yeah.
So, I don't feel as bad about it as I did when it happened. And honestly, I really do feel I dodged a bullet. Because literally doing nothing would have been better than that.
Oof. Yeah. I think.
Hey,
right.
Creme Check. My man. Who's gaming now up in the house, everybody? Old school.
Old school, real old school.
Old school.
Jesus.
Creme Check. Guy comes up to me at SOE Live, is like, dude, I really like your talk shows, man. I'm like, dude, maybe you want to do talk shows. And we did like a Dead Feature Rant and some other things. Like, yeah, that's my guy right there. We'd been talking about Ashes a little bit. When it went down, he's gone back to WoW, everybody, and he's enjoying it. And
get back into WoW.
I ain't gonna blame him, because if WoW's fun for you, enjoy the hell out of it. It ain't going anywhere. And they keep making content. And at this point, that's about all a lot of people just want. And that's great. You've even gone back to EQ. Nah, my man. That's that's a level of masochism I still haven't engaged in. So yeah, that's my little personal story. Because if I had gotten hired, yeah, I would have abruptly had to leave the show, and then I don't know, I probably would have been under NDA, wouldn't really be able to talk about what happened after.
I also applied once to
I remember
on the player behavior side. I guess the idea being something similar to what Riot had done, a while back. But yeah, they were confused by me. They're like, we don't know what to do with you. I was applying for free. I was like, I'll work for free. You don't gotta pay me anything. But they didn't know what to do with me. So crazy stuff though.
Yeah.
Did you freeze again? Diggs froze up again. So
did I?
What
I'm
exactly
still here,
will the live stream be about? Are you talking about us, or because there ain't going to be any more upcoming live streams at this point? I was so hoping.
We're not doing.
No, there's YouTube chat. I was so hoping that when the 13th got here, we were gonna somebody would have given the stream key. And we would have had it over to our great bald friend, and had Narc pop up with a drink in his chair and his Steven clothing to lead the final live stream.
So gross.
That would have been so amazing to see, but unfortunately did not happen. So, oh well. Clothing, yeah, that's a loose term, right? I miss him. I liked him. I like Narc. Narc's doing well. So he's got a new channel that's actually doing pretty good. So.
Well, that's good. I hope the attitude has changed a little too, because that was getting a little wild.
Did they actually have the February 13th live stream? No, they did not.
No, there was not. Ain't no way. Ain't no one to do it. Yeah, Steven, from the sound of it, was like out like a trout. GG, no re. Emphasize the no re.
A lot of people are asking.
Just a very allegedly, just a very crash and burn, and I don't care. I not only don't care about everyone else, I actually want to do this to spite them levels of badness being alleged here. And so, that's you'd made your short earlier about where's Steven. He's been awful silent. And we see him doing moderating action in the forums, or not the forum, the Discord still, but little else.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if he has a lawyer, they've probably told him to shut up at this point, would be my guess. Instead, still going in. And what was one of the last things he said in Discord was something about hope. Like something about in the darkest times, hope can still exist. Or I don't even know what the dumbass quote was, but it was a dumbass quote. And I will say I'm going, people have been asking about a video on narcissism, so I want to probably do that. Anyways,
yeah, that you are very much a person who is qualified to make a video on the subject. So I would definitely appreciate seeing that too.
Well, it sucks. The two things that I wanted to see out of this game, we just did not get to see. Although maybe one day Planendorf can tell us how close we were. We always talked about why we backed this so long ago. Again, we've been covering this game for fucking ever. 9
years.
Nodes, dynamic nodes, and multi-classing. Got none of them. I guess we got nodes. We didn't get dynamic nodes, and sure as hell did not get multi-classing.
Wait. So weren't we supposed to hear Friday about all 64 classes were going to be released? Didn't we have that in the roadmap? Like that was coming up, right?
You mean the thing that I shared?
That was sounding like it was pending to be ready to release. We even saw a little demo video of what like some level 30 or 35 gameplay, what the augments actually look like using dev tools.
Yeah, so
is that what
the end
that
of
was
March,
announced in the character in the content creator? Was that in the content creator?
So what was announced was at the end of March, they were going to raise the level cap to 30, and then we're going to do 1 to 2 skills basically. It was supposed to be all 64 classes, so all combinations, but just 1 to 2 skills. And so I think we've really only seen Ranger stuff pop up. So I don't know how much work was even done on other stuff at all. But that was what we were told. I've seen a lot of stuff, and an investor slide deck also commented on the multi-classing stuff. So who knows? I would guess that we weren't going to have like massively different changes to skills, just little things here and there.
The moment I heard that, I was bullshit. Like the whole thing is, if you've been a game dev, you know it's bullshit. And then you're like, well, maybe there's something. I'm not actually on that dev team, so maybe they've figured something out. But just from the game dev perspective, you're like, you can't do that. For 2020, dude. How are you going to do that?
I mean, they were working on some stuff. So we have seen some
They're working
stuff
on stuff, but from a game dev perspective, it's not. That's crazy stuff.
Yeah,
just from a timeline and just from on a production team, like you can't do that.
But it did look like even if we got some form of multi-classing from the investor slide deck that I saw, it commented on, I think it was like 90%. Again, this is all allegedly, who knows if it's real, but I assume what I was shown was real. That something like 90% of the dynamic stuff was going to be cut out. So like even like the idea of dynamic nodes was just, I don't know. Not going to happen. So some crazy stuff. What is this? Jason sent him a screenshot today of the QuickBooks account. What does it say? Hold up. Oh, damn. Chat's moving too fast. Quit chat. Shows one of Jason's first deposits into the company. On the same day, Stephen withdrew $200K and deposited it into a personal account. Is that real? Big Eyes, are you serious?
There was one from one of the calls about how Stephen borrowed money to immediately pay his mom back some money he owed her. So, I don't doubt that some of that was going on.
It's crazy. Yeah, I didn't watch his live. I was on the first live stream. I guess my email to him got read off in that live stream as well. So, I don't know if any of you were watching it. I had a bunch of pings.
Yeah, I saw that one.
I got a lot of messages through Discord, like, dude, just read your email. Like, oh shit. I don't think I said anything to that. So, anyways.
No, you're just reaching out.
What'd you say? Stephen was like 2 for me and 1 for you. This is going to get wild, guys. I really think we're going to see a whole lot more come out of this.
Yes.
We were supposed to get a lawsuit. Stephen had been hinting at, and Kira also, I think, was expecting, just from talking to him, this lawsuit last week from Stephen, and that never happened. So I don't know. I don't know if it's just a delay in the California system, or even if it's being filed in California. I have no idea, but we've not seen it. So this TFE lawsuit would probably have been served at the start of the week based off of the timing of everything. So that makes me wonder if like he just like they're drastically changing the approach of whatever he was about to do. You know, and I'm not here to. I've been saying this a lot this weekend when in the morning streaming. This is not me trying to champion to Steven's side or to try to say nice things about him because fuck him. But you know, these are allegations. Like we don't know for sure at this. Like you know, people have motivations, right? They want a certain thing, so they're going to say certain things, right? So I do want to see what Steven has to say about all of this. None of this shit looks good, but we'll see. I do suspect that he didn't file his lawsuit because yeah, probably got served, and a lot of that allegations are criminal behavior. So I thought this game was closed down. No, you can no longer purchase it. However, you can still play it technically. We're not playing right now. I would not advise you to play it. So
yeah. The money, you know, there was a there was a lot from that call, honestly, that just raised so many questions for me. And how bad things were even going back in 2018, 2019. We weren't even talking about like the pandemic period. And that's one of the things that I'm really wondering about is when all the QuickBooks stuff comes out, how much COVID loan, the PPPs or whatever, Stephen was able to rake in, and how much is he able to get debt forgiven on those? Because we don't know. Nobody knew. Sounds like the board, everybody's actually put money in, had no oversight, had no idea about anything or his property, and we're not doing their due diligence to really keep a tight anything on anything. And so that's one of those other things that like nobody outside or nobody in the company really got a chance to talk to them. So allegedly Stephen told everybody not to talk to Rob. So when Rob Dawson, who's the one who put the bulk of the money in, was trying to reach, I'm guessing is the CTO, about the tech for the game, he was having no luck getting through to him. So you know, it could very well be a like Steven doing what he could to like poison the team against the investors on the way out sort of thing, to try to have them be you know, loyal to Steven instead of the investors. Now, the one of the other things that from the call that I meant to bring up earlier was all of the allegations that he had never actually put a penny of his own in, and that all of this was all leveraging from everybody else, but that towards the end there, he was still asking for some amount of like stake in the company, and it should have been clear by that point that he wasn't getting any stake in the company. You know, it was from the sound of it that if the company was profitable, he could get a piece of that profit, but it needs to be profitable first. So yeah, and I have no idea what the Steven's personal expenses are, but it sounded like he lived kind of baller. Jason said that the house was bigger than the place he lives in, that they had initially been renting it.
I do want to say that the one thing that I'm probably most mad about with this whole thing at the end of the day is that it prevented us from having related devs on other than Steven for like 7 years or something like that. maybe a whole, well, 7 that probably owned one and Snipe Hunter started working there. Maybe 6 or 5 or whatever. But I'm saying that's the thing that I'm most miffed about is we were waiting, and we couldn't have them on, and that used to be a thing. Like we could have them on,
Mm-hmm.
and we had to go without, and then it doesn't even come to anything for nothing.
Yeah. No, it's not a Red Goblin hat. Once more, everybody, if you haven't seen it, it's the Nagafen hat. It's from EverQuest Next. It's even got that stitched in here. Might be backwards for you. EverQuestNext.com. And I'm wearing it and the shirt for EverQuest Next because it's just a reminder of one of the many games we backed, we talked about, we wanted to have release desperately to be our forever MMO, and it dies.
Do you think that people don't really talk about
Taint fun?
The length of time that this has been going on is also just crazy when you think about how long this whole charade of shit has been paraded around over and over again. And when you listen to Jason talk, how many times it comes to a head where it's about to fall apart and it doesn't. Didn't he say something about like Steven almost lost his house to foreclosure? Like how long this has been going on is frankly almost fucking impressive. Like, but
and I didn't realize how many times they were so close to not making payroll.
Well, they missed it. Like, didn't they say they missed it 2 or 3 times, right? I don't know. There's people in chat that could probably answer that, but maybe they don't want to. But, I know, because I talked about this in some private places. But you know, Kira posted the Slack message about the studio being told about the board. There was more to that. There was a first part to that message that I don't think he posted, where this would have been, I think, November, because I was sent the Steam stuff in October, and then this I think was November. But it was a message even then, and this is where things got really shady. Was like, you know, I think the team was supposed to get their Alpha 2 bonuses, and it was some sort of message that said due to cash flow issues, they couldn't do it now, and they would come around in February when they got their typical bonuses or their performance review, I think is what the message said. Which immediately is like a flag, like the fact that that's even going on. And I feel for everyone that, so keep that in mind, y'all. They didn't even get the bonuses they were supposed to get. So this isn't even, so there's of course the paychecks, right? That they were depending on, healthcare insurance, but there were bonuses that had been promised to them all through Alpha 2 that did not make their way to them. And I told a few folks, I don't know if anyone's in chat, but I mean, I pointed that out. I didn't publicly release that message because it wasn't clear if it was a honeypot or not. It wasn't clear who all it went to. And I had just gotten the message about the Steam stuff, which Steven did try to figure out who it was that sent me that information. But I told him I wouldn't tell him. So I didn't really bring it up publicly, but I don't know. It's wild, man. It is just, they didn't even get their fucking bonuses, man. For all of that hard work. And you got people, I know, because I've talked to some of them that worked like twice their contract. Like they worked literally twice as many hours or even more, like, because they believed in the game, and then they get screwed. And I don't know, the way I'm not a lawyer, but the way it reads to me, you know, even if they would win a class action lawsuit against Intrepid Studios, I don't think that the company, I don't think it has any money.
Even if there was money to be had, I don't imagine it would be delivered anytime within like the next 3 to 5 years. Like, this is one of those things that might take a while to finally shake out, which sucks. So the allegation that the folks that was it TFE Holdings, that they actually want to pay everybody, but they haven't been able to because they hadn't been able to get access to the books. I mean, if that's true and everybody does get their final payouts and everything, and the little runway that they're supposed to get from the WARN Act, well, that'd be swell. Like, that'd be the nicest and most graceful thing they could do. And something like that, maybe, just maybe, 60 to 70 of their best people would actually be willing to continue working on the game on a leaner team to get it done. But short of that, no. If I had worked on it, I right now wouldn't have any loyalty to any entity other than my fellow coworkers collaborating in whatever lawsuits, and that's about it. Doesn't mean they don't want to disclose. They should disclose to all parties as much as they can, so that way the the people doing the suing and hopefully the pay-in might actually be able to come through with that. But that's a big maybe. That's a big maybe. So even if the money comes through, there's still no guarantee they're actually going to get paid for it. Yeah. Because technically, if they close that company and hand the assets over, that could very well just be the first part of a Texas 2 step, and then step 2 is you send it to Texas to a shell company that you smash and say, "Oh no, my liability is gone."
Yeah, hopefully people are starting to understand that the employees are like not a part of this, because I know early on, and a lot of the stuff that I've been covering, that there were comments about employees, or they really didn't know.
No,
they really
from the top
had
down,
no clue, and they wouldn't. I mean, how many people here that work in a business organization really knows the ins and outs of everything? That's rare that you know that. They really didn't know. And actually, even to this day, I've still had employees that have lost all of this, that literally apologize for not making the game. Like, you don't have shit to apologize for, guys. Like, you put your heart into it. It didn't work out. This isn't on you. I want to put a little bit more understanding to what they had to deal with as well. What's been relayed to me, what I've heard from former employees too, is there was a very, I want to say almost directionless like movement to development. Apparently it would seem that it was not uncommon for maybe Steven to see a content creator make a video about something, and then all of a sudden changes, oh, we got to do this, we got to do that, change direction, do this. It sounds as though that's how Harbingers came about. And some other stuff, which, as a team, like when you're having to operate within an environment like that, where, your direction is not super clear. I don't know. It's very hard, but, who all's gonna, if Steven comes out with a new Kickstarter, who's gonna back it? Somebody will. Dumbass.
Not this guy.
You're not going to back any Kickstarters.
Yeah, who owns the rights?
I might back Kickstarters, but they're for things that I know I'm going to get. The mycologist primer, and then the next one in the nature, the primer series by Anna Urbanic, something like that. Badass. Hell yeah. 100% sign me up. I will get every one of the last one of those books because they are great.
So the questions about the
not what I'm going to be backing in terms of games. Like, I don't know if I'm backing games anymore. Humble Bundle Monthly is great. I get so many games. Just got one Metal Slug Tactics recently. It's like that was one is like, that game looks badass, but I know if I hold out, it's going to show up on Humble. And it did, and I got it. And it just cost me like, the cost of like 1 or 2 coffees in this economy from a place that sells coffee for overcharged prices. So that's badass. That's great. And so that's, I'm not really looking to back games anymore. It's the opposite. you pay me to make your game, not the other way around. Like that's I ain't doing that no more. If you want me to help support the development of your game, you want to give me a remote contract and bennies, and you know what? I'm whatever it is, I'm gonna be the guy for it, because that's me. I'm the glue guy. I get things done. I get everyone looking the right way, aligned and in tune. That's just what I do. I'm a game developer. Wanted to do design, but then I ended up doing production and QA and filling all the gaps and stuff. So, like, yeah, if you want me to support your game, you gotta hire me. Otherwise, you ain't getting me on a Kickstarter. You ain't getting me on a backer sort of basis. That ain't happening no more. Stars Reach was the last one for me. 100%.
That's who laid off employees. Stars Reach.
Yeah, and I don't even I feel bad for the people that got laid off for Stars Reach, but I don't think the game's gonna go under. I think I have a feeling there's some technical work they need to do, but that they're gonna be able to pull through with it.
So people asking about the assets, the my understanding of all this, the assets currently belong to 2FE Games Holdings. The question about the IP, I don't honestly know. I have heard, I've been told that potentially Steven had, I guess, licensed the IP to the studio. I don't know if that's real. I don't know if that's true. So I don't know if he still maintains the IP since it was his original Pathfinder campaign, but that is
no,
not clear to me.
Rob Dawson owns the IP, 100%, hands down. Ownership, Rob Dawson.
And
Rob
that
Dawson
source is
owns
who?
Vera.
And that came from Jason.
Yeah. he owns Vera.
Okay. So anyways, there is a full board. That's also been a common question. I have nobody believed that there was a board. There was. It's not entirely clear when things were formed, how things were done, but I have seen their meeting calendar stuff. So I don't know. We're going to learn a whole lot more coming out. So you on the Wagsy, you on the IP. I mean, WoW tokens might have worked. Who knows? Just came from Nepha's stream. What's going on here? So for those of you that are probably more used to seeing my face, so here recently, we've always done the Ashen Forge. It's been a more or less a talk show that's talked about Ashes of Creation now for 8-9 years. And so this is a little bit of maybe a wrap up. I don't know. Maybe we'll do one more depending on what comes from the lawsuit side of things. But we'll keep moving forward as a group. But
yeah,
crazy
there
times,
will likely
man.
be follow-ups, I think.
Crazy times. I really do want to go back at some point and just react to our own interviews with Steven and just really, really understand the bullshit that was coming out of the mouth as he was answering questions for us.
The one
right.
that you kept observing came to mind so many times. You had mentioned multiple times, both in chat and on the live stream, that there is a certain reaction that Steven would give when he would say how much money he was allegedly having put into it. And initially you were saying that's a realization of oh crap, I've put $30 million of my own into it. But according to what we've heard recently from Jason, that was not the case. It was more of a, does 30 million sound like the right number in this situation? Sure, let's go for it.
Yeah, no, it will be interesting to go back through a lot of these interviews and just re-examine how he's doing things and saying things. It became a little bit easier to see I talked a lot with the Dusty. The Dusty Y. And I feel bad for him. Dusty and I didn't always see eye to eye, but I've come to thank him and like him. I know he put a lot into this. I think he's moved on to WoW, but his interview was probably one of the most enlightening that I've ever seen of Steven. And I don't think anyone really understood it at the time. And if you go back and watch his interview with Steven, suddenly everything makes sense. And that's part of what I've put into some videos that I've made, you know, when he's talking about, there's a period where he says, where we have not had to interact with the investment side. And then but he pauses and he says, and he rephrases, historically, we have not had to interact. Like if there's little nuggets in there that now make a whole lot of sense when you go back and listen to what he says when he starts talking about investors and AI and all this other shit. But I don't know. It's part of me wants to go back and do that, but part of me also just wants to like say fuck it and move on, find something else to do. You know, keep covering the lawsuit stuff as it comes, but otherwise just move on forward. And I think that's what a lot of the people were asking about the employees as well. You know, we're friends with some of them. We talk to them. I've gotten to know some others as well. You know, they're not going to be openly chatting with folks. For one, I assume there's NDAs involved, and you know, so there's that. But two, many of them have, you know, there's pending litigation, so they're obviously not going to go speaking about things if it messes with that. But then third, I think a lot of the people are just wanting to move on. Like they're just ready to, you know, they were sort of devastated and you know, a lot of the early messaging that I received about Steven was, you know, he did a lot of good things for the employees. And I believe that to be true. Like he would help them out. And so the early messaging when this all came through was, you know, one of almost concern that he'd get thrown under the bus. But I think the majority of the employees are now starting to see, you know, seeing what's been going on. And my impression, at least, is that there's a lot of hurt there now as well. And so I think a lot of them are just ready to move on, go to something else. And but maybe one day they'll talk about it. Maybe we'll get CoffeeZilla to do something here and reach out to some folks. But
the idea of being like the benevolent leader early on, that kind of tracks with that idea of the narcissism. But you know, it's also one of those things kind of that Jason was pointing out. It's like, it's real easy to be a big man and act like a baller with someone else's money if you're not worried about paying it back, or you're not thinking about paying it back. So, you know, that you might be helping somebody and going above and beyond for that. But at the same time, like, the money that you're doing that with is part of the budget for everybody, allegedly, and part of a sustained budget, not something that's just able to be depleted here and there as like just a discretionary war chest.
well, I'm starting to run out of shit to say. What time is it?
Yeah, it's time to go.
Well, we got a little bit of time.
You want to do 10 minutes? Okay.
The one thing for me that was the biggest, though, and this is one that I'd be willing to go back and look at and think about, is why did development suffer for the amount of time the game was being worked on, for the amount of effort and man hours and work hours and all the technical people, all of their skill and all of their everything. How did it not end up doing better, faster? How did it end up taking so long to limp into Alpha 2 as the game we didn't back, but the game they were able to put together with what they had, plus whatever changes that they had made and never told us about, it felt like instead of being honest with us that features were going to be cut, that instead it was us learning that a feature is being cut because they're just not going to do it. And that they it wasn't an anticipated, hey, we know we're going to cut this, so much as a like, oh, sorry, we're just not going to have this thing in that we said we were going to have in. All the stuff with all of their timelines and deadlines and everything just not coming through. Everything being so far behind with the character models and the ability to get cosmetics out that we only saw a few of them at the very end instead of having seen a whole lot of them the entire time. All of the stuff that needed to be there to look and behave like a game that was going to sustain itself just didn't seem like it was ever manifesting. It did not ever feel like a game that was going to garner a $15 a month subscription. Not at all. Especially if you're selling cosmetics too. Pick a lane. If you want to be Fortnite, you sell the cosmetics. You can do a battle pass. But don't restrict normal people from playing, because they will buy skins too, or they'll maybe buy the battle pass once or twice because they see something they like a lot. And hey, don't say Star Citizen's doing fine, lulz. They're doing better than they have, but ain't nobody got those 5-6 figure mega yachts or whatever, the super whale packs yet. None of those are in still. So they still have a long way to go. Way to go.
I mean, the way things have again been portrayed to me is Steven has just been bad at managing, just a micromanager. He's shown us his schedule before, and it's just crazy how many things were on that schedule. And I don't, that inability to let go. The other thing that I've been told, or that we've been told, is that there were like 11 iterations of the Riverlands, and the one we've been playing on was not necessarily the finalized one yet. Like,
of course
they could just never reach a decision, or he couldn't, I guess, is what I was told, to like what to put out there. And so that's probably where you, I don't know. You can go lots of different ways with that. Like, well, why would that, is it an internal thing? Like, you just can't give up control and you can't make up your mind at the same time. I guess that's possible. But also if there was some sort of grift going here, we were grifting and we were scamming. If that was happening, I could also see where you wouldn't want to get to a point where you release the game, because then your investments are what the players give you. If they buy your game or not. I don't know. That's all assumptions and speculations, but I don't know. One day, maybe people will like to talk a little bit about their experiences. Maybe not.
Well, in a few years, when all the NDAs expire, hopefully people will have kept their notes nice and tidy and be nice and ready to talk more about it. But till then, I don't know. I don't know how much more people are going to be able to say, and I'd imagine right now, like has been communicated by Margaret, there's a high likelihood people have been told there's certain subjects you just don't talk about, because we wait for the court filing, we wait for all of that stuff. We don't want to, pollute public opinion or whatever and have the case thrown out for it or sullied by it. So there's definitely some things that have been like told not to go out and say, and to be cautious about what you go out and say. So I appreciate that. I appreciate the hell out of everybody from the team who does speak out. But at the same time, I appreciate everybody who doesn't, because you got to look out for yourself. You don't. What's worse than not being paid by your former employer than being sued by them too? Like that. I couldn't imagine a worse situation. And you know, for everybody, it just hurts, because we've had so many MMO and just game closures and studio closures, and so much consolidation continuing to occur. Back when this game started, I don't even think Embracer and Savvy were like more than but like an idea, or maybe Embracer had just barely gotten started. And like now Savvy owns EA, or whoever it was that bought EA, and you know, it's things that changed. Embracer failed to get Savvy to back them, and so they kind of ate shit as a result. But you know, just the continued consolidation. But then there is still hope. It's not all doom and gloom, because apparently in Asia they never forgot how to make MMOs. They just don't make them the same way we make them out here. They still make them. I only played it a little bit, and I'm probably going to jump in again. What was that one? Where Winds Meet. It doesn't even feel like an MMO. It feels like a cinematic single-player game that maybe there's other people in it.
Yeah, I don't think it's an MMO either.
Now, well, you guys played it a bit more. Is Where Winds Meet actually an MMO, or is it?
I wouldn't call it that. I mean, I call it more of a group-based game, a small group. It does have broader interactions with players, but I wouldn't necessarily. It's almost like you can think of it like the original Guild Wars, sort of almost like a lobby where you gather with people.
All right. Okay. I am definitely someone who says gathering in a lobby, but then going out with the group and not seeing anybody else while you're out in a group is not an MMO, but I still like it. Played the shit out of Warframe. Been like mastery rank 30 since the second update it was available, so it's not like I don't enjoy those kinds of games. But no, I guess that isn't an MMO. Excuse me. I don't know. We'll see. It's none of anybody's business, but I applied to MapleStory recently, so if I'll definitely let you guys know if I get the job, but not expecting it.
You know what's wild to think about right now, and I want everyone in chat to think about this too. If you think back to 2017, 2018, or even like 2020, and where we are now, does this not blow your mind that Ashes is dead, but we still have Pantheon. We still have Quinfall. Like these other games that have persisted beyond Ashes is just almost like mind blowing. Like
Gorgon,
Project Gorgon. Yeah, it's just it's sad, man. It sucks. It sucks. It's what it is, but Monsters and Memories, everybody keeps talking about. Yeah, we'll give it a go. I don't know, MMM to me, if it's super EverQuesty, I don't know why you wouldn't just go play EverQuest, but Camelot Unchained, yeah, I mean, who knows what the fuck's going on with that game either. But yeah, it's just crazy to think
that one was a Kickstarter backer game, wasn't it?
Sorry, which one?
Camelot Unchained.
Oh yeah, no, it was. Or they did their stuff.
Okay. Yeah, you know, I'm gonna get back to that subject. It's come around in chat here, so I'm gonna say it again. You know, Jeremy Walsh. I appreciate what he wanted to do. I appreciate the team that he was able to bring together for it. I am disappointed that he wasn't able to make things work, and that things just didn't work out, and the things they were trying to do to fund it didn't really work out. And the way that he closed the doors, and the message that he sent in particular that wasn't very good at all. That got him a lot of that's what started the hate storm. That's one of those, like, unfortunately, different words could have probably saved him a lot of trouble, and unfortunately the words that he chose were ones that got years of backlash, and like people doing like ruthlessly illegal stuff, filing illegal fake tax returns in his name and stuff like that. And like, if people had actually, if A, said something that maybe he didn't get as much backlash from, but B, he didn't have to spend what money he had available on lawyers the whole time, maybe he could have actually done something and kind of pulled through with it a little bit. Maybe there could have actually been, but we didn't get a chance to see that because he got eaten alive by the backers, and that was sad. And that was another one that I wanted to get hired on, and I was ready to move up to Washington and go join the team and help build the world. That would have been lovely. I was so down for it. I have friends up there that I would love to have been, in proximity with. So, that was another one. But at the end of the day, I don't think he scammed anybody. Arco SC, I'm a glue guy. I'm a designer, but I end up doing production. I end up doing QA, voice acting, running and organizing booths at conventions. I do a lot of everything. I am the glue guy. You can't get hired as the glue guy because nobody's hiring a glue guy. They're all hiring seniors. So, reflect on that. Gosh, and that kind of threw me off. What was I talking about there?
Castles and crap jacks.
Castles and I do miss Landmark. I thought that would have been great. But no, getting back to the subject here, all of the hate and all of that stuff that came to Jeremy, I don't think he was due. And I'm not going to say who is due that level of suffering until all of the data has come through. But with all the allegations that have come through at this point, if I had to direct all of the rage to one person or one entity group, you probably know who I'm thinking of right now, but I'm not going to say it. But I don't really think any of us, the industry, the workers, the fans, the investors, the fish in the ocean, the silica used to make the hardware that the game's being developed on, the cost of the license fees, the cost of running and off, like none of it was worth it.
You know what?
The whole thing wasn't worth it.
Learned
It was
from
all, and I hated that.
from all of this and our sort of march through different games here and seeing them collapse. It seems to be when we're trying to move the genre forward, the MMORPG space, the companies that try to do too much at a time, it just doesn't work. You look at, we've made comparisons to EverQuest Next and Ashes of Creation pretty frequently. When you line up their goals, they're very similar, and sort of all of the new things that they wanted to do. And I think Chronicles of Illyria was probably similar. And we get these big grand ideas, and then it's just almost impossible to put them all together as you plan for it to be. So, yeah. All right, guys. Anything left? Diggs, you're very quiet, and I can't tell because your camera's frozen.
I know, because I'm mysterious.
Well, you've been in the industry before. You've also seen what game development looks like and
Yes.
what it looks like for a game to be worked on and to be shipped, and what a professional team looks like, and what like professional leadership look like. And love them or hate them, but it was, Activision shipped MechWarrior 2, and it was one of the most beloved games for a long time. I'm sure there's still people who play it.
Yep. That was one of my first games. And I guess that's kind of been the interesting thing, because as we've been talking about in 2026, and I was saying that doesn't sound possible, but this is one of the outcomes. I think what Phantom X was kind of projecting was what he kind of was understanding about the possibilities of the financials. They really needed to do something financially. But the other side of that is it becomes vaporware. It just didn't seem possible that they could get, from a game development perspective, that they would be able to get a beta in any decent state. I mean, the wild thing about actually playing what I played of the Alpha 2, it's kind of an okay MMO, I guess. Generic, kinda. But I didn't really see how it was ever gonna, be something that people really do.
Yep. Well, yeah, we there are going to be forever debates on what is a scam, what is fraud. Only thing that we're going to get solved from all of this is just what comes out of a court and all of that. So, who knows? What is this? AOC never, I repeat, never stopped being a crowdsourcing campaign, which is why no actual systems were done. I mean, if you want to get really technical, there was a point where they shut off keys, and they shut off any sort of cosmetics as well. So technically not always, but I get what you're saying. So, and there were systems in place. I don't know if Planendorf's still here. I don't know. I wish the devs that hang out with us could talk, man, because they could tell you a little bit more about what's there. All right, guys. Well, it's getting late here for me, so appreciate everybody hanging out. Again, the news is crazy. I'll keep covering stuff on YouTube. We'll keep doing live stuff here. I will. Sorry, I just got thrown off by the. Do you guys think the people with referrals will be paid? LOL. That just made me laugh. Internally. So. But yeah, Saturday, Sunday mornings, I am actually streaming. We're just doing a whole MMO roundabout. So we did Project Gorgon last weekend. This weekend we did Quinfall. Actually, Sunday I'll be on the front page of Twitch all morning, and I don't know what I'm going to play yet. So when I signed up for it with Ashes of Creation, which I guess I could play, but I don't want to. Well, who knows? Maybe the server will be done by then. But so. What's up, Magisto? Yeah, here for Revival Online, COE, now AOC. We're just all screwed, man. Years of this stuff, guys. So, yeah, I'm not going to stream that. I was being joking. I'm not going to stream Ashes of Creation. So, we'll figure it out. I don't know. I'm actually going to probably. I've been having this big urge of going to Warhammer Online. What's the server called? Return of Reckoning. And playing around in there, but we'll see. So, but we aren't done. We'll be back. We did a long time. What was it? 30 Forge Fridays. We did long before we got into Ashes. So we'll reset. Like I said, I'll still be doing stuff as well. But
yes.
All right, guys. I don't
probably
think
be Sundays, but yeah.
I want to check something here. We have always tried to pass along the love with raids and things. But you know what? We are the only people streaming Ashes of Creation right now. So there is no one to pass you to. Sucks, man. This really sucks. But I hope all the staff end up where they need to be. I know a lot of you are applying to places like Riot and stuff. So fingers crossed for all of you. So.
Yeah, it's rough right now, but good luck, everybody.
All right, guys. Have a good week. We might get some legal news. I'll let you know if we do. Otherwise, hang out with us in Discord and we'll have some fun together. We'll keep going. All right.
Cheers,
probably
everybody.
All right. Bye.
See you guys.